Yo boys, it is Tuesday, and that means more Overdress reveals until Overdress comes out. And today we got some really sweet news. We got the Persona RIDE news, so that it's juicy AF. But we'll get started with the boring stuff first. They revealed more PRs. Like, can they just stop with the PRs? You know, I don't know if it'll come out in English. Probably not. But these ones just get released in February for like buying stuff. Three clans currently they've shown. Oracle Think Tank. This one is a grade 2 Vanguard circle. When you ride from a grade 1, you discard a card from your hand and you get an imaginary gift protect. So pretty early, grade 2. And then on the Rearguard circle, when you attack with it, you may reveal any number of sentinels from your hand, and you basically gain 5k power for each sentinel that you revealed for this effect, so you can get super fat. The Angel Feather one is when it comes to play on the Vanguard circle, you may discard a card and then draw a card. And then during your opponent's, at the beginning of your opponent's battle phase, you may put this card into Soul, and then you may choose 2 of your grade 1 or higher rear guards, and then for that turn they get intercept, and they can intercept from the back row. Alright, so nice, you can use your back row grade 1s. And the last one's Neo Nectar. So Neo Nectar has a continuous rear guard effect. If this is in the same column as a token unit, your opponent, this card can't be the target of your opponent's effects. And then the second effect is Act, Rearguard Circle, Counterblast 1, and rest this unit. And then get 2 plant tokens, call them, and then if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or higher, your Vanguard gets plus 10k. So kind of Asha-ish support, but overall the Neo Nectar one got gypped. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Neo Nectar one. It just doesn't really do much. The others at least might have some sort of use, but these don't look like super game-breaking PRs, so that's kind of fine too. But onto the real important stuff, we've got clan selection. I don't know how many of you guys are still buying it, but we've got Nova Grapplers. And this one, we saw the card of the day, but we do this all the time. We've got Beast Deity Lift Taurus. I mean, yeah, look at this guy. It's working out. Auto Rearguard Circle, when placed in your main phase, you may stand one of your units with Beast Deity in its card name. So any unit. And then second effect is Auto Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle. When your Vanguard's attack hits, look at the top 5 cards on the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 grade 3 card with Beast Deity in its card name from moment and put them into your hand and shuffle your deck. If you put it into your hand and this unit is on the Rearguard Circle, put this unit into Soul. So it's similar to like the Mega Colony one, right? Pretty good, has some support. And thanks English Twitter again for doing these quick translations. I got Beast Deity Typhoon Bird. This one got released today, I think. Act Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle once per turn. If you have a Vanguard with Beast Deity in its card name, you may counterblast 1, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, call up to one of the non-grade 2 card with Beast Deity from on the 2 Rearguard Circle as rest and shuffle your deck. So that's kind of cool. Get a free card, and then your Mr. Lift Tauros can stand that. And then finally, we have our Ethics Buster, right? Beast Deity Ethics Buster Auto Vanguard Circle. When placed or rode upon, discard 2 cards from your hand, stand one of your units with Beast Deity in its card name, and attack your opponent's Vanguard with that unit. So, you could essentially attack with your Vanguard. So it's pretty good. At the end of that battle, if that attack did not hit, stand that unit, okay. And if that attack hit, that unit gets drive -1 until the end of turn. So, if you ride an Ethics Buster on top of an Ethics Buster, you get, like, you can attack, like, twice, right? At least. So, you swing the Break Ride effect, and then if that didn't hit, you stand it, and then you do it again, right? And then if it hits, then you -1 drive, but you do it again and stand. So that's pretty good. And then if they both hit, then you can use your grade 1 to stand, because the grade 1 also said you can stand a unit. So this is actually pretty good. It's an auto effect, so it works on Vanguards, like premium, very well as well to get some quick attacks. And then the interesting thing is that it's 12k, so sometimes it can swing under 13ks and like damage deny, but you do discard 2, so that's kind of a hefty cost for doing that. The second effect is also on the Vanguard Circle. When your unit with Beast Deity in its card name attacks, Counterblast 1, and that unit gets power 5k until the end of turn. Okay, so you could technically give power to itself. Yeah. So okay, this seems pretty good. Like, this actually seems a pretty good unit from clan selection. I know a lot of us has been pretty disappointed with what we've been seeing from clan selection, but this one actually looks pretty good. It's one of the topper tier ones, I think. So good job, Nova Grapplers. You might see some relevance again. Now let's get on to the juicy stuff. So the Overdress questions, right? They have some Persona Ride. Well, they just skipped all the way to Persona Ride. Let's go back to Japan Twitter. They have everything. So thank you, Japan Twitter, for delivering the goods. Now there's some things that they revealed that are really, really nice. One of the things is they revealed what's in the deck. Now I'm gonna just talk about the deck a bit. You see that we get a lot of things, and this is from a 333 yen start deck, right? We get 4 of the Nirvana grade 3, which is probably the ace card of the set. We also get a backup grade 3. I'm assuming it's like Inferno Sword. I'm guessing this is like the thing that they've been showing, right? The victorish looking guy. But then the other, like we get some like we're missing out like a grade 1 here. We only get 3 copies of that. We get 1 grade 0 card, Sunrise Egg. So I'm guessing this is your starter. Reno, you know, all this stuff. We get 4 Sentinels, grade 1 Sentinels. Now, this doesn't tell us if we're using grade 1 Sentinels in Overdress or not, but you get 4 Sentinels, so that's a start. That's at least you can play with Sentinel. You get 4 Trick Stars. Now, this is interesting because we also already have a grade 0 here that's not a trigger, and this one's not a trigger too. So this is like they're just pumping in 4 grade 0s into the deck, right? So what does that mean? You know, this is a very unbalanced deck already, but remember, in Overdress, you get the Ride deck, so you're never going to get great stuff. By the way, they also removed G-Assist in Standard, so you can only Ride deck. You know, you can only use the Ride deck. I don't know, like, I don't think I'll ever want a G-Assist if I want a Ride deck, but it seems kind of weird they just take it out. I don't know, like, it's up, I think pretty much no impact. You get the, I think this looks like it's going to be, you get the Over Trigger, but this is the double plus 100 million trigger, so it's not the special one that you get for each nation. Then they give you a front. Okay, so I think so. What this kind of tells us is that fronts are gonna just be a generic trigger for every single clan, which, I mean, there's no Excel circles anymore, so that seems pretty interesting. We also get 2 orders. Now, I mean 3 orders. And that just kind of tells us that orders are still in the game. This is a kind of interesting. This is called Sunburst Evolution. Now, the entire deck for this starter deck is that it evolves your allies into stronger things. So I'm assuming this Sunburst Evolution is going to evolve your Trickstar, which you have 4 of, but it's a grade 0. But you already have another 0 here. So what does that mean, right? So maybe this Sunburst Evolution evolves your Trickstar into something else, or it uses Trickstar as like a fusion material, you know, as like a fusion material to like get something. So I think that's pretty interesting. It at least tells us that the flavor for this deck is not just limited to just you know, running like your standard. Here's your standard deck list. You have other places, like other things to play with now that you have a Ride deck. You can run these weird ratios, right? You have Trick Stars, you have orders. Now orders don't screw you because you can always Ride, right? So yeah, so there's some things to grab from this deck. We get fronts for, you know, but it just looks like it's fronts for every clan. Orders is still around. They'll probably be nation based, right? This will probably just be a nation based order. And then yeah, it looks like they're playing around in the start deck a bit, playing around the ratios, just to make it so it's at least more interesting. Right? This is already more interesting than X years of Vanguard we had before, where, I mean, last time it was just dump grade 3s in your deck, right? Protect decks ran like 12 grade 3s, Murkuma ran like 16 grade 3s. So I mean, the ratios are different, but this at least gives you like a good ratio in that you never misride, but you have other utilities that you can play with. So that's really nice from this deck, and it's 330 yen. You know, 333 yen, 4 USD. So yeah, definite. So the dream of Blitz Order, this, you know, is still alive. You know, that we could still see some Blitz Orders that aren't just tickets, right? Quick shields. Now they revealed Persona Ride. Some people have been talking about how this is worse than Force. It favors going first. I entirely disagree. Now let me explain this to you. So if your Vanguard has an icon with Persona Ride written on it, if you ride another card with the same name over it, you get to draw 1, and then your front row gets a continuous effect of plus 10k until the end of turn. Now, you might be going, oh, if you go first, then the next turn, I can ride a grade 3 again, I can Persona Ride, and then, you know, I just gonna Raffle Stomp your opponent. And that could be true. You could just double crit them and win. But at the same time, you don't get that many copies of your Persona Ride in your deck, right? So you probably have 1 in your Ride deck, You have 3 left in the deck. If you draw one, if you're just gonna waste it immediately there and herpity derp, you might hit them to 5 and make them drop a card. That's cool. But after that, you don't have that 10k anymore, right? It's not like Force where you just like one card gets permanent plus 10 at the end of V. Basically everything gets plus 10. Maybe more because you just get multiple Force markers. Then you have like 20 Excelsior. No, this is a 1-turn effect. So you technically have to. There's at least more thought behind if I just want to dump this card or not, right? Sure, you get a +1 draw, but the question is, do you need it now? Do you want to save the power until later? Where suddenly, if your opponent's at 5, this plus 10k is going to be way more devastating than just hitting them at 2 and they just no guard, they take you, and then from the rest of the game, you're like hitting like a wet noodle. Remember, to reset your Persona Ride, you either have to draw another copy of itself, which after drawing 2, you'll have 2 left in the deck, and it's quite possible that one goes somewhere else or you never draw it. Or if you draw other grade 3, then you have to reset. You have to ride that again, take up another turn, and then draw another Persona copy of that to be able to get that 10k, right? So it's not as facial as you think it is, and I think it's gonna be, I think it's a fine mechanic. It's not gonna be the defining mechanic like Gift was in V. I don't think. It just feels like a nice mechanic that they're just adding to the game as just like an extra mechanic to make like the overall decks kind of, well, just more mechanics in the game, so there's more things to do, right? And this is not, yeah, again, this is not a facial mechanic. It's actually a bit more strategic, at least in standard. And then from what we've seen from the start deck itself, there's probably a lot more other mechanics in that deck. And that's just start deck as well. When the booster comes out, there could be more other cards that you want to play with, more engines maybe that can be put in the deck. So that is something very interesting. That's something really interesting. And I just want to say that the producer, Keita Mori, he was going to reveal something else this week. It was just going to be something about supplies, you know, and ramp it up for like the next week, etc., etc. But apparently he's been reading everyone's comments. So, you know, it looks like everyone just wanted more information about Overdress and the Persona Ride and all that. So he changed up. He listened to you. So he changed up the contents this week to kind of throw this out there. And I think that's definitely the correct move. Like, congratulations. Thanks for listening to the fan base and keeping that hype train going strong. So I think this was good. It's nice to see. I mean, it's not a really insanely creative mechanic, but at the same time, I think it's just one of the mechanics we're going to be seeing in Overdress, especially if this game is going to last like more than, you know, it's at least, well, they said 10 years. So first mechanic of Overdress. There is some Q&A as well. So I think they translated the Q&A. Now, one thing I just want to say though at the start is that people have been saying, "Brr, dude, but you can just ride deck and, you know, confirm your plus." No, you can't, dude. If you want to use your ride deck, you can only get a grade that is +1 higher than the one that you have. So if you're already in a grade 3, no go, bro. No go, bro. So yeah. So some of the questions here. Question 1, I think these are kind of explanatory. Yeah, question: during the tournament, I rode a grade 3 unit on a grade 2 unit. Can I continue to use Persona Ride? No, you cannot. You can only ride once per turn. I have to be able to use Persona Ride next turn, right? It's pretty obvious. After using the Persona Ride, I call a Reguard in the front row. Does this Reguard get plus 10k? Yes, it does, because it's like a continuous effect, you know? And the last question is, on the turn after I rode a grade 3 unit directly from hand, can I ride a grade 3 from my ride deck and perform Persona Ride? No, you cannot. You can only ride 1 grade above your current Vanguard and when riding from the ride deck. Yep, that's basically what I said. So that's kind of it. Now the only question is, let me read this. Right, so this doesn't really say that you have to ride it from hand. So if you should pure ride the same copy of itself, do you get multiple copies? So that's the only thing I'm not too sure. And maybe they'll explain that more later. And yeah, because in premium that could get kind of good, but at the same time, well, I guess in premium, if you keep on copying itself, you could draw a lot and get 10Ks. But I don't think you've got things like Tarna yet or Wonder Ezzles. So yeah, that's kind of it. So that was all the reveals this week. Really interesting. At least it answers some questions, and it showed that the new producer has just been reading the comments and listening to the things. So this is a great start for Overdress again. Deep respect. And I honestly, even just looking at these contents, can't wait to see like what else they show for like the later decks, and maybe we can garner some more information from that. But that's just basically my thoughts so far. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It was a big pack Tuesday, and yeah, just let me know what you guys think. What you guys think of the ratios. I mean, this is 333 yen, and we're getting heaps of stuff. And again, like just the Persona Ride in general. All right, so see you guys in the next video. Bye.